Welcome back to Australia, and here are some player ratings for the British and Irish Lions players following that first test victory in Brisbane. I'm Tim and thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the support on the channel, and please help me out by dropping a little thumbs up on the video, and more importantly let me know what you think about these ratings. And I'm gonna look at the 23 players that took to the field and give them an overall grade out of 10, and then have a look forward to how that maps onto the midweek game and the second test as well. What changes, if any, should Andy Farrell make? Because he got the victory, but it was interesting hearing Maro Itoje speak after the game saying that it wasn't good enough. And certainly I came away thinking Australia had done well to be within 8 points and that the Lions could have buried them. They won the physical domination, and clearly Andy Farrell and Maro Itoje want more. So what changes should happen, should be made. And also, just to stick this on your radar, make sure you stick around on this video, because I'm gonna have a little moment that I'll share from my trip to Australia with one of the most dedicated Lions fans that there are. And yes, I met one even in Perth. So I'm currently in Western Australia, where the weather is, let me show you, absolutely miserable. We've done 2 rugby training sessions today in biblical wind and rain. Has not been much fun. But yeah, so we've just stolen myself out. So what's the time? So it's really dark. It's like 10 to 5 in the evening. Stolen myself out just to a mall. I just wanted to come in. It was quite a big night last night. Just wanted to come and get a coffee, grab a couple of supplies, and I thought I'd hop on and do a video as well. So here we go. Without any further ado, let's crack on. So I'll go 1 to 23. Ellis Genge gave him a 6 out of 10. Scrum didn't quite go, but when you think that Scrum's actually been really dominant for the Lions throughout the whole of this build-up to the first test, including the game against Argentina, they showed it really well. Actually, I suppose you've got to credit Australia, but the Scrum wasn't quite as dominant. Ellis Genge didn't have things all his own way, did nothing majorly wrong, and for me, a 6 out of 10 is yeah, good enough, did your job. I suspect there might not be changes in that area, but maybe could rotate, and some might argue Ellis Genge is a really impactful player to bring off the bench when everyone's blowing a little bit with the energy that he brings with his carries. So we'll see if that manifests itself. Dan Sheehan was one of the better players on the Lions side. He got a try, because you know, Dan Sheehan and scoring tries, name a more iconic duo, and found himself in the wide channels a lot, as he does for Ireland. Similar situation, and the line out was pretty spot on when Sheehan was on the field. To complete the front row, given Tyg Furlong a 6 as well. Kind of okay, yeah, solid enough, decent, without being remarkable. Did he get pinged for 1 penalty against him? Certainly him and Genge between them didn't kind of win that battle, but they didn't really lose it either, so jobbed. Onto the second row, where I thought Joe McCarthy was an absolute beast, and you really noticed when he went off the field. He just really adds something. Just goes out and, yeah, he's a big bopper that bashes people. Did a really good job of it, and that physical domination was the basis on which the Lions won the match. The extra couple of yards they were able to get in contact, and all of the energy that saps out of you if you're Australia, having to just take those hits and then get back up off the floor. It does take it out of you. So I thought Joe McCarthy was really good. I thought Maro Itoje, by his very high standards, had a quiet game. And when Itoje was saying it wasn't good enough, I did have the thought at the time, is he talking about the team or is he talking about himself? Because I guess when you're the captain, particularly as I mentioned, he's a captain who leads by actions, not words. We saw Ellis Genge doing the pre-match team talk before the game. So Itoje's a guy that goes out there and leads in a different way on the field, and obviously you've got to have conversations with the referee in and amongst that as well. And he'll obviously keep his spot for Test 2, but he'll probably want to put in a more dominant performance in Test 2. Talk about dominant performances. There were question marks asked over this guy before the game. Does he deserve his spot? And actually, when I was picking my 23 for the game, I had Tom Curry at 6 and Jack Morgan at 7, and I had Tyburn missing out, but it just goes to show, you know, and I've said this in the build-up to the game, Andy Farrell has forgotten more about rugby than I will ever know. And didn't we find that out? Because he sees these guys every single day in training. He's able to judge what is realistic given the opposition, which hasn't been strong at times. And Tyburn, when it mattered most in one of the biggest games of his whole career, he was an absolute beast. Jackal threat, defensive energy, such a busy performance. He was brilliant, as was Tom Curry, who I've also given a 9. And those two players set the tone from the very start. It was that first moment, Tom Curry with a monster hit on James Slipper. And then just energy. And I tell you, there's a few things I spotted watching the game again. So it's how destructive Tom Curry is at the breakdown. And quite often, you know, when you think about being good at the breakdown, you just think of winning turnover penalties. And Tom Curry got one of those. But he made Australia work so hard to retain their ball. Even if the Lions didn't win it back, so many rucks, when you watch it back, he was meaning Australia had to commit another man or two men into a ruck and slow down the service of their ball by 1 second or 2 seconds, which at that level of the game is monstrous, it's massive. It allows your defence to get that much more realigned, and consequently the Lions were able to get off the line, win the collisions, and Australia had no platform to play. And so if anyone's still asking what Tom Curry adds to a team, he was an absolute beast. Jack Conan, decent things, nice break. Quieter by his high standards, but yeah, solid performance. I gave him a 6.5. And that is the forwards that started. Move on to the backs. In fact, actually, do you know, giving it away now, actually, Jameson Gibson Park, I won't go any further into the backs before I've showed you this Lions fan that I bumped into. So yeah, Jameson Gibson Park, I thought he was great. That man can boss a game, and the Lions simplified their game quite a lot. They went to the power game, they went for territory. They played, do you know what, the British and Irish Lions, some people have accused it of being a bit boring. I don't understand that. I think I said this the other day, rugby can be as complicated as you want, and sometimes it seems really complicated, but fundamentally rugby is a very, very simple game. Territory is massive, physicality is massive. I've already talked about the forwards, they brought the physicality. Jameson Gibson Park was a massive part of the territory. He just played such a smart, box clever game. Now, let me take you back. So I arrived at Perth Airport at, like 12:30 in the morning of Saturday morning, test day, so 12:30 a.m. Australia time. And I bumped into a chap at the luggage carousel. Have a look at this. Been in Australia for all of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And just met this gentleman by the carousel. Your name?
My name's David McGall.
David, over for the Lions.
Over for the Lions, yeah.
Tell us about the ordeal you've had.
So our flights were due to fly out of Guernsey. We live in Guernsey in the Channel Islands. It's a bit of a long story, so brace yourself. So we had.
Have you got a quick version?
So quick version is.
I was kind of joking. It's all right.
48 hours of thick fog in Guernsey. Had 4 flights cancelled getting off the island. Had to rebook with Emirates 3 times. Whilst on, then decided to get a 9-hour ferry journey over to Portsmouth. So whilst on there, we were trying to figure out with Emirates how to get to the first test in Brisbane, because our friends who left.
So you're not done yet travelling?
Not done yet. I've got about 3 hours, and then I'm on a flight to Brisbane. I reckon some of my crew are still up partying by the photographs that they're sending me.
So you will be, because it's today. As we record this now, it is today. You're going to be at the test.
So we start.
And your journey started when?
Wednesday.
Oh my God! Beat that! Can anyone beat that in the comments?
Even better, I've got to say a big shout out to my travel colleague H, who has been with me every step of the way, but they couldn't get us on the same flight from Dubai to Australia, so he's gone into Melbourne. So he's just flying over ahead of us as we speak, and we land within 20 minutes of each other in Brisbane. So
you stashed up as well.
Stashed up. That's all I've got. Stashed.
Good to go. And you know, I know all the players are Lions now, but it's a pretty special one for Scotland, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be amazing for Scotland. Yeah. I mean, first time. I think it's the first time Scotland 10's ever started.
That's a fact. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Test match because Craig Chalmers has played, but
yeah, I don't think he's ever started. I don't think. I might be wrong, but
I think he might have been on the bench.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been. It's one of those ones, isn't it? For 20 years, we couldn't get a bloke in the squad.
You know how Wales feel now.
And now I know how Wales feel. And actually, I think Jack Morgan's been hard done by, if I'm being brutally honest. But let's see what happens tomorrow.
Oh, I just want to shake your hand for getting here. Well done, and have an amazing time.
Thanks very
much.
Good man. Good to meet you.
How good is that? That is what the Sea of Red is all about. The commitment. And you know, when I think about the amount of money that some people save up for years just to come out and watch this series. Bearing in mind, as I've already discussed, you know, it's not like the perfect time of year to come out to Australia. It's you're not coming out to sit on the beach on a lot of occasions. So people are you know, doing a once in a lifetime trip to come and watch a rugby team. And I just think it's amazing and it needs to be celebrated, which is why I wanted to put that on the channel. So good on you, fair play, and I hope you had a really good time at the game. And I hope to bump into you in Melbourne and in Sydney for Test 2 and 3. Proper commitment, that. I love it. And it's one of the reasons why, when I've been reading in fact, let me show it to you today. I've been reading the news, the journalists back in the UK, and I understand why they're doing it, but I just think, imagine you're that guy, right? You've travelled for 3 days to come and see this team. You've had an amazing time, and the top sports story, when you look on one of the prominent newspapers in the country, the headline reads, Lions win. Lions wins are meant to be special. Against these Aussies, it just felt sad. Now, I get the point that Owen Slot is making, but it's once every 4 years. And the Lions just won a game, and you lead with the glass half empty story. Really? Give your head a wobble. And he's in Australia, being paid to work on this. And I appreciate you've got to call it how it is, and there might be a point to make, but really, that's the top story in the Times Sport the day after the test. Well, do you know what? This is why people aren't reading newspapers nearly enough. This is why people are turning to creators on YouTube, because of exactly that. Anyway, let me carry on. Let me know if you disagree in the comments down below. Finn Smith. Maybe he'll get a go in Test 2, but he won't be starting at 10 if Finn Russell is the man. I mean, everything went right. Finn Russell even proved he has his own gravitational field when that ball bobbled over his shoulder and just stuck to him like glue, almost like he meant it. Everything worked for him, particularly in that first half. And you do have to split between the first half and second half. The Lions just absolutely bashed the door down starting the game, and really, even though Australia came back a couple of times, it was never in doubt, was it? And this guy was just, again, pulling strings with a really pragmatic game. And so he does incredible things, but let's stop once and for all calling Finn Russell a maverick. He's not. He's just a brilliant all-round rugby player. James Lowe, quiet, made some errors. Didn't have a great game, kicked into touch, didn't really go as well. The whole back three struggled, so I've given him a 5 out of 10. Gave Sione Tuipulotu a 7. Maybe I should have bumped that up to a 7.5. He made some good breaks. He was one of the best backs for the British and Irish Lions. And his combination with Finn Russell, I picked Bundy Aki in my team, but I was wrong, and Andy Farrell was right once again. Hugh Jones, slightly quiet by his standards. He should have scored that try and was a little bit overzealous. So that knocked him down half a point to a 6.5. But yeah, decent. And then Tommy Freeman had a poor game. Will his position be under threat from Matt Hansen? I'll come on to that towards the end of the video. And Hugo Keenan the same, a 5 out of 10. There were errors, there were fumbles, and had Australia been able to do the grunt work up front, had they had Will Skelton and Rob Valentini, then Jorgensen and Potter and Tom Wright could have really exposed that Lions back three. That is one area where I'm sure they will be looking for improvement, because none of the players really set the game alight. So that is the 15. Onto the bench. Ronan Kelleher, a 6. Didn't have loads of time, but he came on and did his job. Andrew Porter, exactly the same, did his job. I do wonder whether, and it's Monday morning quarterback in it, I wonder if Ellis Genge, he could be a better impact man, but he's been, do you know what, Porter, Genge, don't really mind, they're both great. Will Stewart did his job, 6 out of 10 as well. Ollie Chesham, I think he added something when he came on. Again, he came on for Joe McCarthy, and so, having said Joe McCarthy going off was a moment where the momentum shifted downwards, I'm talking about that more as the bench in general. I thought Ollie Chesham did a good job. Ben Earl came on and was busy, lots going on. Alex Mitchell didn't get a lot of time. Marcus Smith didn't get a lot of time, so I'm rattling through him, give him a 6. Bundy Aki, yeah, he's physical, an absolute beast. As for the team for Test 2, what do you think? I would say that maybe those three players' spot might be under threat in the back three. I don't think there's any pressing issues anywhere else. And again, Andy Farrell's going to be watching them all in training. It'll be really interesting to see what the team that's picked for the midweek game is, because obviously if someone is stood down from playing in that, that would give you an indication they're maybe involved in the Test 23. So will Matt Hansen be selected, or will he be rested? Maybe to be brought in on the wing. And if so, on which wing? You've obviously got Blair Kinghorn. Is he fit and ready to go? I wonder if that might be the team for Test 2. Although I will say Andy Farrell's a very level-headed, consistent in selection. Some people have argued maybe too consistent in selection, because Ireland haven't actually developed the next generation soon enough, and they're having to sort of play catch-up a little bit there. But that just goes to show Andy Farrell is pretty consistent in how he plays. I think he'll have been really happy with the first 20 minutes. Work to do. Will that mean any changes in personnel? I'm not sure. We will see. But Test 2 will be here before you know it. Those are some thoughts. Let me know yours, and I'll see you on the next video.